Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Group Chat. D is out. You know what? We'll tell you where D's at later, but it's risky. So Anand and I are here being responsible and safe and bringing you the news and a little bit of chat that it seems like so many of you really love and spend, I would say, possibly a little too much time listening to.
Or just enough.
Yeah, like I don't know whether to say thank you or to say chill, because we got some really good praise over the last couple days. But man, you don't really realize how quickly these group chat hours stack up.
That's great.
It happens quick. Okay, we got a lot to talk about today. We pretty much run the whole gamut of topics, so they're all good. It was a great episode. Let's jump into it.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
What is that?
We got Timberland in the building? Oh, no. God damn it. What's up, what's up, Anand?
What's going on?
That's how we'll start. We'll start with frickin' Just Blaze over here.
Yeah. Seriously.
What is up? So D's out because he's going to see just how potent Omicron is.
Yeah. He's trying to see if he can catch a quick case in Miami.
Yeah, it's like I don't know maybe like Vice used to be, or it's sort of that like risk-taking journalism where you actually go into the heart of the danger zone and you actually put yourself at risk and just see, what's going on.
Yeah,
he's in Miami.
Yeah, there's a reporter, Richard Engel, who's very famous for that. He would be in like the war-torn countries reporting while like bombs are going off in the background.
Yeah, that's D. That's D at like a club in Miami, and there's just, you see Omicron just being spread all around him. And does he catch it or not?
I have to believe Omicron, and we could debate the seriousness of it in a bit, is more widespread in Miami currently than any other city outside of South Africa.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, definitely any city in the country.
Yeah, because Miami's a very international city. And Art Basel brings in people from all over the world.
Yeah.
And
also a lot of like skirting the rules. You know, there's a lot of like the rich crowd of, get around the rules.
A lot of unvaccinated folks.
A lot of fake vaccine cards, I would imagine.
Yep. So, yes. So in 2 weeks, we'll read the headlines. Omicron is all over Los Angeles. And we can thank
that's
D.
for sure.
We can thank
D. D is patient zero for LA. He's currently scooping up some Omni to bring back. We already have a positive case in San Francisco, and it looks like New York from the Javits Center in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's fucked. I mean, you go to the Javits Center and come back with Omicron, that means everyone has it.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as the case was reported in South Africa or that there was a concern, the way travel works, it's obviously everywhere all instantly.
Yeah. Yeah, I read a book called The Premonition by Michael Lewis, and it explained why we messed up so bad.
I know about this book. He kind of cataloged the whole COVID experience and the government response, right?
Yeah, the whole like almost like day by day, the way that it rolled out and why we fumbled it so bad. But one of the main reasons is just because, it's no secret that every positive test is like a 2-week lagging indicator. So it's a snapshot of what happened 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So, when D gets back and it's going to take 2 weeks to know what happened out there in Miami. For sure.
It was similar to when we went to Vegas for the Delilah opening, and then Delta was everywhere in Los Angeles a week and a half later.
Yeah, that's true. I think Art Basel might be looked at as like the petri dish of, like, I think things will ramp up after Art Basel.
Yeah, I think so too. But there's some optimism that as transmissible as this is, and it seems like significantly more transmissible, that the symptoms are milder.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. In all seriousness, I was going to make it my loser, but I think that we are. I think we're going to blow it pretty hard on the response. Like, it doesn't seem. It's super early, and I hope this ages well, but it doesn't seem like Omicron is really that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, like, is it that much bigger of a deal than what is already happening? It doesn't seem like it. It actually seems, in some ways, I don't want to get too optimistic, but almost positive, because, like, you could have this less vicious strain go around and everyone can build up the antibodies to it. But I think we're probably going to go pretty hard. You can tell by the way that they're tracking, like, one case here, one case here. He was at the Javits Center. It's like, we're going to do some, like, kind of extreme shit. And I just don't think it's worth it.
The media is going to blow this out of proportion. And
this is ratings.
And we don't know how severe it is. And it seems like it's much less severe, like you said. That's like all the early data shows that. And even JP Morgan put out a research report saying, like, markets shouldn't be whipsawing like this over Omicron because all the data we're seeing, it's much milder. Sure, that can change. We're open to keeping our opinions fluid, but today, as it stands today, I think you're right. Like, the media will make this the biggest thing on the planet without the actual data yet.
Yeah. I think the combo of problems is a hot new variant all these media companies see as ratings. And so they go so hard on it. And then I think every politician, I was really trying to think about it. And I don't know, whatever. The point is, I think every politician gets nervous that this could be another COVID and that they could have, like, blood on their hands again.
Or do they view it as this is their chance to be a hero?
Well, that too, right? It's like, this is your chance to be talked about because you saved your city by locking it down early. And no one wants to be the one who has the highest death rate in the country, and it's your city. And so I feel like then they get scared by the media. That it all works together, and you just have this, like, insane overreaction. That seems like what's coming.
I will say, if there is some draconian measures put in place because of this, I think it's the biggest win for the right and the Republican Party and the anti-vax movement, the anti-mask movement. I think they're just going to be like, look at these guys again. The data shows this, and now we have all these measures. And I think you'll have a lot of liberals who took COVID really seriously flip and say, like, this is just wrong. Yeah.
Big win for Joe Rogan here.
Oh, yeah. Joe Rogan's,
been going extra hard on the... Which, look, I mean, some of it makes sense of, it doesn't quite make sense that if you've had COVID and you have strong antibodies that you still have to be vaccinated, even though the antibodies might be similar, whatever. I don't think anyone can pay attention to that much nuance, but it's gonna perform really well for that crowd.
Oh yeah, Joe Rogan, has he already started mocking it yet?
Not that I know of, but I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, if they start doing lockdowns, he'll do whole fucking episodes dedicated to it.
Yeah, and I think if there are lockdowns,
so good for Texas,
Yeah. If California actually institutes any stronger measures than already exist, like right now, it's basically show your Vax card and you get in a restaurant or a sporting event. I think you'd actually see an exodus this time.
Yeah, I agree. Which I think that they're going to push for it. I don't know if it's like shut down restaurants, but man, I just think these things get so carried away. I feel like we're in this, like, routine now, and we're in this, like, fear. Everyone still has PTSD from COVID. So you throw on a new variant and you're like, here we go again. Like, everyone's, like, ready for it. And I don't know. I'm curious how this one plays out.
Yeah. Or people just won't listen.
By the way, you want to know what else I wanted to talk about was, did you see that story of I forget his name, the guy whose wife got shot in their house in a
Clarence
home invasion?
Avant.
Yes.
Who Anthony told me, and I didn't realize his importance, that him and Quincy Jones are the godfathers of black music.
Yeah, there's a whole Netflix documentary about him.
Yeah.
That was a home invasion. I mean, that's insanity.
Home invasion, killed his
Truesdale
wife.
Estates.
Yeah, so for people that don't know where this robbery happened, arguably the nicest part of Los Angeles with the most expensive homes.
Absolutely.
And gets murdered, and that they caught the guy today, and they caught him. He's a 29-year-old kid who went on to rob another house, and he shot himself in the foot, and he got caught robbing another house after he killed this woman.
This is insane.
Like, how brazen are you? You just murdered someone. Like, most of these robberies aren't ending in violence. It's ending in like, hit him over the head and just take your shit kind of thing.
Yeah.
You actually killed someone, and you weren't like, whoa, that went wrong. That's not how we normally do this. And you went and robbed someone else.
And you killed an old lady. It's not like, I mean, I'm not saying anything's better than the next, but like, you didn't kill like a 25-year-old that was trying to fight you.
Right. There was no fear.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
there was no fear robbing that house.
It's as cold-blooded as it gets, man. It's just, at what point, like we've seen now, you know, someone got robbed inside in a hot wings store in the middle restaurant. Every day we hear about news stories. Like, what are we doing? How is any DA or anyone looking at this and saying like, no, it just hasn't worked yet?
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, every day in a chat, almost every chat, you get some sort of robbery that happened. Every single day at this point. There was one I got sent today. I don't know if you saw where the guys faked as police people and stormed the house and started hitting them and made them open the door. And then there was the woman with the stroller in Hancock Park. Did you see that one?
I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
Yeah, these are all videos that are just going viral. So, yeah, the district attorney, I mean, Gascon, like we had him on this pod, but what are you doing?
I can't believe we had him on this pod. I can't believe like we were so excited about that. Guy's just shit in the bed.
Yeah, I want to know, like, how is he not making a statement? Because every conversation throughout the course of the day I have with people, at some point it ends in crime or a crime's involved.
Yeah.
So we were eating at a restaurant last night or 2 nights ago, and I could overhear a table of people just talking about crime. It's the first thing that's on everyone's mind every single day.
I don't get it. I just don't get. I mean, look, these guys. You guys talk to Gascon. These guys aren't complete morons. What is going on in their meetings where they're saying this is somehow worth it? Like, what data are you looking at that's positive, or what like anecdotal stories? Like, what is happening that you could allow this to happen? It's wild. There was also like a Twitter showdown between Casey Neistat and Seth Rogen that's going viral. Did you see that? And
you know who else got involved in that? Our good friend Matt Belinsky.
I knew it.
And the New York Post covered it.
And they quoted Matt?
They quoted both of them. And they literally read or wrote all of Matt's tweets in the New York Post with Seth Rogen.
Oh, I got to look that up. Was he was obviously on the other side of
You know
Seth
what
Rogen.
Side he was on.
Yeah, okay. I just can't believe, I mean, look, I love Seth Rogen as an actor, but like, I got to be honest, that bummed me out.
Yeah. It's not the take of any single person in Los Angeles, especially him who's rich, who probably lives in an insane neighborhood with an insane house. No one has his take that it's safer than ever.
No, and all I can imagine is he's so removed because of his nice house and his private security that he's, he compared it to, my car got broken into 15 times. I used to live in West Hollywood and park on the street. Okay, that's great. That's totally different than what's happening now.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I can imagine is that he's so removed, because I get it if it's one thing that you look at all of it and you're like, damn, like I know people who live in gated communities and all that stuff. And even though they aren't affected, they're like, damn, it's crazy out there. Like I still will be aware if I like stop for coffee or something. I can only imagine that he's so removed that he can't even wrap his head around the fact that it's actually that much.
Yeah,
work.
if you're going to make that comment, take a picture of where you live and what your security system's like, because you're rich and probably can afford private security that patrols your neighborhood and patrols your house, and you probably have a huge gate and some crazy security system. Don't act like you're one of the people.
and talking shit on Twitter. What are you doing? I got an idea. Throw on a Rolex and go to Melrose.
Exactly.
Then see if you still have the same take.
We have a close friend moving like near the Grove area, very nice house. And he's moving from a high-rise building, and he's like, man, I'm entering the war zone.
Yeah.
It's literally
for real. That's how it would feel. You're literally dropping into the war zone. Like, all right, it's just me and myself now.
I was
crazy.
thinking to myself, it's like we should do a send-off like he's going to war. Like, you know.
Yeah. Yes.
And he's moving into a mansion.
Yeah, you have to go hit up the guys we had on the pod and do some gun training. And like, all right, man, here you go. First day of boot camp. The other thing that bums me out so much about it is I just know, you know, we've said it very openly. We're not righties over here, but the reaction to this is going to be gnarly.
I think
like what this is going to mean at the polls.
Yeah, I think this tipped the scale. It's over. Like this defund the police movement. Everyone I talk to wants law and order. Do you have a conversation with anyone in Los Angeles that doesn't talk about law and order?
Seth Rogen. Ran into him the other day, and he was like, "No, it's great. Oh, it's great." Yeah, no, it's insane. And you're gonna get. The problem is you're not. My worry is you're not gonna get common sense, law and order. Let's just calm it down. You're gonna get someone fucking crazy on the other side.
Exactly. You overcorrected, and now the overcorrection on the other side. It's the same thing with Trump, right?
Yeah,
like that's how 100%. Trump came in office.
Yeah,
and
I didn't even the Trump thing. To be honest with you, I did not for a second see coming. Like I didn't know there was that much built up frustration. This time it's clear as day.
Yes, I think it's so clear. I think the recall effort's going to be real. And I think you're going to have a lot of liberal people that thought this was a good progressive movement just switch and say no. Like, you can't walk with a stroller in a nice neighborhood in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's insane.
I always thought that was the one. Whenever I used to walk around, around with Mav, I was like, no one's fucking with someone taking their kid on a stroll.
Yep. Well, we've broken new barriers.
Yeah.
I mean, when you got people that are okay with shooting an old woman and then carrying on to the next one, that's another level.
Yeah.
It was even for so long, I thought like, you know what? Worst case, I mean, they are armed robberies, but no one's getting shot.
Mm-hmm.
I was always kind of felt good about that. You know, like, all right, if I get caught up, I'll give up my shit. I'm not going to die.
Yeah. I mean, Amanda and I have had conversations like, if we got robbed, how do you communicate? You know, you're like,
just like, do mock versions. Literally. All right, Anand, you be the robber. Oh my God, that's what LA has come to. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay.
Maybe they'll drive down real estate prices. Who knows?
Well, that's true. Yeah. They'll be up in fucking Austin. Something positive. I went on Instagram the other day and, you know, I'm admittedly a little out of the loop on like social media stuff and that. And I was just flooded with all these DMs, like some from people I knew. And it was just really weird, you know, and I was like, what is going on? What's happening? And I look and sure enough, it's Spotify wrap up time and we're hot.
We're very hot. And we want to thank everyone who...
Every year...
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, just for everyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, every year Spotify, which is a brilliant thing. And I can't believe like YouTube and Apple Music and everyone hasn't knocked this off well. But Spotify sends out here's your stats. Here's your most listened to artist, your most listened to podcast, your top 5, your how many hours you spent, blah, blah, blah. And so everyone that had Group Chat as their top podcast posted and tagged, and it was just a flood.
It was incredible. And the number of minutes people have listened to, like, we can't thank you enough. And it actually made me think, like, it's super casual.
You have a responsibility.
It's like we just sit in a room and it's super casual and we're just talking amongst friends and having very strong opinions about different subjects. And we're like, holy
people
shit.
are giving us like a month of their time.
Yeah. But we do take this seriously, so that's...
Yeah, thank you, and I'm sorry. Because Anand maybe offers some more value. I can't necessarily say I do. I'm good for some jokes.
No, but that was awesome. And like, thanks everyone for posting. I tried to repost every single person that tagged me or tagged us. So wanted to just say thank you.
That was great. And some of our friends on there, I mean, I would say like, half I want to say like I'm flattered, and half I think they sort of exposed how much they're actually tuning into us.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay. Well, good for us, I guess. Thank you guys for the support. And not only thank you for listening, but especially everyone who actually posted it. Like that stuff really still goes a long way. And I think especially when all of your followers see, my friend spent so much time listening to this, they're more likely to go check it out. So thank you for everyone who posted.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, how about some news? Let's give these people what they came for. Adidas is entering the Metaverse, the next big brand. So we talked about Nike. They're going to enter the Metaverse in a big way. And of course, Adidas isn't going to be far behind that. They're jumping into, what are they doing?
They have a collab with the Bored Ape Yacht Club. So they purchased an ape, and now they're going to collaborate on different projects. So I'm assuming it'll look both IRL in real life and in the Metaverse.
I wonder what Bored Ape Yacht Club got paid for this.
I wonder.
It'd be really high.
I don't know. It's a foundation. They might have just, I don't know. So the Bored Ape Yacht Club's made, over $100 million. The foundation has through royalties.
What do you mean a foundation?
So the way it works is it's anonymous artists who created this, and they released the 10,000 apes, and they make money when apes get transacted, because when they minted, they all sold for cheap, right? Now they're worth a shit ton. So even though that the market cap of Bored Ape Yachts and I think north of $1 billion, they get paid when people buy and trade apes. So they get a 5% royalty on every transaction.
That's interesting.
So they've made over 100 million doing that. And, there's rumors that they're opening a Soho House type club in Miami with using 20 million of that. So I don't know how Adidas, because they're anonymous, who are they talking to?
Man, this is all so interesting. Who is the representative for the Bored Ape Yacht Club? Who's that guy?
Is
or
it
gal?
some agent at William Morris that's you don't know who they are, I'll handle it?
Yeah, or is it some some young dude behind a computer?
Right. Hit me in the meta.
I feel like William Morris and those people are just, got to be just now kind of hopping on and getting involved. But someone built this whole thing up that, I don't know. I would imagine isn't connected to the rest of the entertainment world, but maybe I'm totally wrong. It's just so obscure, but good for Adidas. I would say Bored Ape Yacht Club, maybe other than CryptoPunks, the biggest name in NFTs.
So CryptoPunks are worth more, but I think Bored Ape Yacht has way more cultural relevance.
Yeah, relevance would be my question. Yeah, I think you're probably right.
And Adidas bought land in the sandbox. I don't know if we've talked about that on the podcast. So.
We had to skip it. We had to take it out, I think.
Yeah. So they bought land.
So that's where they're going to put their Adidas facility, probably.
I feel like they one up Nike here. Nike did the Roblox thing.
Yeah.
And said, NFTs. And then they just went all in with the coolest relevant NFT brand, in my opinion. I think it's tier one, even though the prices reflect differently with CryptoPunks. Yeah. And they bought land.
Yeah, I feel like if you're Adidas, Adidas had that huge run with Kanye and then the Kardashians and all that stuff. That sort of simmered. I feel like this is your next big chance.
Yeah, I'm impressed. Normally Adidas lags Nike, and they kind of one up them.
Yeah, well, let's see. Okay. Next thing, big changes happening. Jack Dorsey. I don't know if we mentioned this, or maybe I missed that episode, but Jack Dorsey stepped down as Twitter CEO. Obviously focusing more time on his other projects, things like Square, which immediately after stepping down, he announced almost like a Facebook type, complete name change. So Square is changing its name to Block.
Love it.
You love it. Is this obviously reference to the blockchain? What is this like? What does this signal?
Yes.
Like we know what Meta signaled. What does this signal?
They basically are saying, Square is basically saying it has to be in the crypto space in a meaningful way. We already know you can buy and trade crypto on Cash App. You can, Jack Dorsey has publicly talked about how Bitcoin is so important. He's gone to Africa to advance some Bitcoin projects. And they're just like signaling that, hey, Square's kind of new age financial system for young people, how people get paid, how people charge people if you're like an individual business. And he's basically saying like, hey, crypto, they've already built a $150 billion company doing kind of phase 1, and phase 2 is going to be crypto. And how that is involved with Square, it's to be determined. But it's a pretty big signal to the market that one of the best entrepreneurs, so you have 2 of the best entrepreneurs ever, Jack Dorsey and Zuckerberg, making transformational changes in their business because they see where the future is heading.
Yeah, that is pretty wild. You know, like I think you could kind of look at Facebook and be like, okay, well, you know, big move by Zuck. But 2 of these guys doing it back to back in the span of a month is pretty wild. And
doesn't it make you realize how much better technology founders are than kind of traditional companies?
Oh, yeah.
Because,
I mean, I feel like I realized that a long time ago.
Yeah, but think about like how long it took Macy's to launch a marketplace when e-commerce was clearly the biggest thing.
You're right.
Like, okay, if you didn't have e-commerce in 2008 as like a principal part of your business, like we're going to focus on it. What was your excuse in 2015?
Yeah. I wish I could even make a joke. It's like I can't even. It's so absurd. I can't even make it funny.
And these guys who've already had massive success are like, we need to change immediately. Like, think about that. They're already the king. They're the kings on the hill, and they're making transformational changes. It's not like they're coming from like a place of defense and like, oh man, we got beat. Sure, TikTok's massive. No one's producing the cash flow that Facebook is currently.
Yeah. What would you attribute that to? Like, is it just like the ethos of Silicon Valley, or like what? Why is it so different?
I think it's in their DNA of the way they view the world. So they view the world so much further ahead than traditional businesses. And you saw it because like the way people, I remember going up to Silicon Valley, the level of conviction they had on businesses before they were even real was like, no, obviously you're just going to press a button and a car's going to come. And that was like a crazy fucking idea to anyone.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, not only is everyone going to do this, but we're going to bid up this company to the fastest growing valuation at the time. Like Uber went from like a $4 million company to a $40 million company to a $3 billion company in a span of like 2 years. And everyone thought it was nuts outside of Silicon Valley. In Silicon Valley, people at 3 billion thought it was cheap.
I would just love to understand like why, like, you know, like do they meet up more? Is it all this damn microdosing? Like what causes, you know, like I don't know, like to me, I've never been there. I've never sat in any of those conversations, but it feels like they communicate more. Like it's not like all the people from retail all have a bunch of powwows and talk about the future of retail, where maybe tech, they do that more, or like they're just so far ahead. It's insane.
So it's funny because you typically have the view that Silicon Valley people have big egos. And I think that might be true, like how they act in their like social lives and whatever and talking shit on each other. But I feel like they have no ego on their views of the world.
Yeah. So they share it a lot, you mean?
Not only share it a lot, meaning they're open to being like, fuck, what I'm doing today isn't going to be what's going on tomorrow.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, man, it's fascinating. It's like, it's not only, I don't know, I feel like it gets discounted. It's not only that technology is the future, but the people creating it just think so fundamentally differently.
I mean, Ben Horowitz went on
type people.
Yeah, Ben Horowitz went on Charlie Rose in 2014. This is after Bitcoin went from like 1,000 to like $200 or whatever it was. So
Yeah.
already had been completely discounted by the national media because when it was going up to $1,000, everyone's like, holy shit, what's this thing? And then it crashes. We're like, oh, we told you it was a scam. He goes on Charlie Rose, and I remember this vividly. You could Google charlierose.com and watch the interview. The level of conviction he had on crypto and how it's going to change the world in an era where the entire media was saying crypto was a scam. That's 2014. Most people who listen to this podcast only discovered crypto in the last 18 months, right? And he was saying this in 2014, and he just didn't waver. They kept making bets in crypto from 2012 all the way up until now, and obviously ongoing. And for all the shit people talk about, oh, these companies make no money, look at their valuations. Like, hey man, they view the world like 15 years in advance.
Yeah, it's so true. Okay, well, Block. I mean, there you go. If you need any more, heads up or warning, then Meta and Block, I don't think it gets any better than that.
Yep.
Okay, next up, Virgil. I mean, rest in peace to the GOAT Virgil. This guy just, he passed away. What day was that? Over the weekend?
It got announced on Sunday.
Okay, Sunday. And then just shuts down Art Basel. I mean, they do a Louis Vuitton Virgil Was Here show. With his work. And then they announced today, or I just saw it today, this Mercedes-Benz collab where he made this like off-road solar-powered Maybach that's just insane looking.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. It's just like, it's so tragic that the guy passed away. And let's just say it was business as usual when he was here. He just owned Art Basel again,
Absolutely.
in my opinion.
Yeah, of course.
Insane. So, and this guy, that means that this guy was sick, knowing he only had so much time left. I can only imagine how, physically he must have felt. And he's still just, designing entire fashion shows for Louis Vuitton and Mercedes. And I'm guessing that this is probably just a small fraction of what work is actually done. It'll probably be the biggest talk at Art Basel next year.
Yeah, doesn't it remind you kind of Tupac? Like Tupac dies and there's like endless amounts of music that was still being released like 10 years later after his death because he recorded that much.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And it's almost as if Tupac had like made full albums with marketing rollouts ready. It's just, I don't know, man. I mean, it's such a tragedy that we lost this guy, but this car, so the show was crazy. Everyone was obviously there, looked really cool. They did this amazing like drone show, where it was like made pictures in the sky and said Virgil was here with these like drones with lights. But, and then, they announced this Mercedes, which I have no idea what Mercedes does with these things. He designed a G-Wagon a long time ago too. I don't know if these things ever see the light of day, or maybe some rich people buy them or something. I don't know.
Mean,
but this thing is crazy.
How much do those go for typically? A Maybach?
Well, a few $100,000.
Okay, so if you think about this like an art piece, and there's a limited release, how much would people pay for this?
That's my question. So this is millions,
for sure.
But like, do they make like 5 of them and sell them, or like, what do they do with these? Are they just concept cars for press?
I can't imagine, think about what stuff, think about NFTs. NFTs are being sold for millions of dollars. Who wouldn't, is a super into the culture that's really rich, wouldn't pay, what's the number? I feel like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's probably, for this car you're saying?
Yeah.
$20 million.
Right?
Yeah.
And they just put it on display in their backyard. I don't know, whatever they do.
For sure. It's just like in a glass case in the middle of their living room or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But I'm reading the article. I don't really see what it says happens to these things. I know car companies make concept cars all the time, but this just seems like something that you could sell these things. But man, Louis Vuitton, Mercedes-Benz, there's just nobody bigger. It's so insane what he accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
it's like not even, I know we talked about like all the headway he made for the Black community and for breaking down barriers and stuff like that. But it's by any metric, like it's not like, oh, he was great as the first Black designer to like, there is no one who ever operated on this level.
No. Especially
so crazy.
How many different things he touched, whether it was music, art, cars, clothes.
And they were all the biggest.
Yeah.
It's like Kanye, Nike, Mercedes, Louis Vuitton. It was only the biggest in each category.
I did have a lot of like Art Basel FOMO when I saw that fashion show. Not that we would have been at that fashion show, but just the energy around Art Basel.
Yeah, I agree. It's the clubs that freak me out, but the energy, I see a lot of people also in short sleeves and just faking to like art. I'm down for that.
Yeah, we're the fake it to like art, but just want to have a good time.
I've been practicing my fake art reactions. Oh, how much does this go for? Okay, next up, let's talk about some old school business here. Kroger. Even though we're talking about tech and how that's where the action's at, Kroger seems to be on fire.
Yeah, so their sales are up because consumers apparently are opting to eat at home, but their profits are getting squeezed because of supply chain constraints.
Oh, isn't that a pickle?
So I guess it's signaling, this is probably for the middle class person, because we know the high end stuff is on fire. Like all the high end restaurants, you can't get a reservation. You can't, they all are reporting record numbers from what we hear. But it appears like the middle class is opting to eat at home, according to this news.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, I also feel like so many, like all the big and popular and chain restaurants are on fire. I feel like still so many of the little ones closed.
Oh, the little ones for sure. And you have to imagine this has to impact like Chili's, Cheesecake Factory, CPK. If they're, a lot of the customers, like I like all those places, but I'm saying a lot of those customers are like, shit, it's too expensive.
It also seems like the number of smaller, one-off restaurants that close, there's got to be, like there's this massive hole, and I'll bet you a lot of those people are just eating at home.
I was in Santa Monica for lunch yesterday and was walking around with a friend. We're just looking where to eat. I don't go to the West Side that much, but I didn't recognize any of these places. They've all changed. I remember what they were 2-3 years ago. And I was walking, I was like, oh, these are all new names.
Yeah, that'd be me too. I mean, I probably haven't been down there in 3 years.
It's pretty bleak too at the beach.
Is there a lot of homeless people still?
Santa Monica, there are homeless, but it's not like overwhelming. Venice is, you can't go to Venice.
Overwhelming, yeah. Got it.
Like my friend who, he was in Santa Monica and he went for a run to, we were at the place he rented and he was like, I was like, which way do you want to go? He goes, do you want to run into tons of homeless people or not homeless people? And I was like, let's do the not homeless people. We went the other way.
It's so crazy too, because we're talking about some of the most expensive real estate in California.
Absolutely. And he said when he ran to Venice, like while he was in Venice running, he goes, all you smell is piss and shit.
I mean, I got to be honest. I was in Nashville and, there was obviously more homeless people there than usual too. But I was just thinking like LA is a beautiful place to be homeless. Like it was freezing cold in Nashville, and it gets really hot and humid in the summer. It's like, no wonder. Like Santa Monica, like the weather's amazing all year round. I mean, it's a great deal.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is we've been shitting on LA a lot, but this is happening in pretty much every major metropolitan city.
It is.
Like this transition of like increased crime, increased homelessness. And I don't think it's unique to LA is all I'm saying.
It's not. I think LA, because of, I think a few factors makes LA seem kind of the worst. Like I think homelessness in LA is way higher than New York for weather reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Then you also have the crime. You also have kind of like, the LA dream that when you see the other side of it, I think stands out more. Like, I think that there's a couple factors that make it seem really nuts. And it does seem like the crime is more violent here right now. It just seems that way. I don't know if that's a fact.
Yeah, and I have a friend who told us in Chicago, downtown Chicago, so the nice parts, not the bad parts, people don't feel safe after 10 p.m. walking around.
Yeah, I mean, my cousin in Akron, Ohio told me that crime is up.
In Akron. So it's across the board.
A lot of like what they do there is like steal your converter on your car. Like that's like through the roof. Like it's those type of things, but it's way up.
So I guess the evolution of this naturally, I think, and this is for young people who are in the NFT space that are bragging about their Bored Apes online, that are bragging about their crypto punks. Do criminals figure out like, hey, that kid's at this really cool party and I know he's got a Bored Ape on that phone?
That's a good question. I mean, if it gets there, my first instinct is that's too hard to wrap your head around or know how to get it for the criminals. But, you would think that there's probably the same way everything else evolves. There's going to be some like savvy, because if you could catch somebody, you could hold them at gunpoint and make them figure out how to transfer you that Bored Ape.
I mean, Jordan was at a party and he said there was a kid flashing his MetaMask like, look at this ape I got and look at all these NFTs.
Oh, yeah. That kid, I mean, you're a walking target.
This is an ad for Ledger, our sponsor. This is the reason you have cold storage.
For real. That's for real. I mean, look, man, I would not be surprised. It sounds crazy on first instinct, but I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, it's pretty easy to learn what these things are, who has them, how you would transfer them. Why not?
And think about how NFTs is it's a cultural thing and people are bragging and boasting about it. It's very different than early crypto. Everyone was very quiet. Like all the crypto whales wanted to be anonymous for this exact reason. They were like, I don't want someone to come and rob me, whatever. Like, I don't want anyone to know that I have a bunch of crypto. And now they're obviously evolved into so many safer ways to store your crypto that if you're smart, like even if a robber grabbed a crypto whale, they're not going to grab anything because it's not going to be on their phone. But these kids with the NFTs, I don't think realize that. No,
they're just sitting on their phones. All you got to do is check people's display pics.
Yeah.
All these guys buy an ape and it's their profile picture.
And it's the .eth, all this. Like it's two things. It's basically like it's great for crypto adoption that we're seeing all these people talk about it, but then you're also making yourself a target.
Man, if robbery goes into the metaverse, okay, well, I mean, it's a very real concern and it just feels like it just feels very possible. I don't know. To me, if you have money or nice things or just came up on something, I don't think now's the time to really be flaunting it.
You've had many nice watches over the years. Would you ever wear one out again?
Not now. I mean, maybe this stuff clears up in a couple of years.
But like today,
zero chance.
If you were going to Delilah, would you wear a nice watch?
No, zero chance.
There you go.
It's just not worth it.
Right.
Because it's also gotten so, I would say even 6 months ago, yeah. But now it's gotten so crazy that I don't know that there's not just a guy right outside the Delilah exit with a gun. Because these guys obviously don't give a shit. Whatever is happening, meaning, I wish I knew the word amongst these people of literally you can rob 7 people and they're just going to drop the charges. How do they talk about it? Right. But if it's that well known that it's just open season and you're not going to get prosecuted and people are just waiting at any place. I mean, if you're walking into a hot wing restaurant and robbing someone in front of a bunch of people sitting eating, why wouldn't you just wait outside by where the Uber pickup is? Who cares?
Yeah, I think the thing really is it snowballed, right? The DA made it public that nonviolent crimes basically aren't going to get prosecuted. And then the cops stopped searching for the people doing the nonviolent crimes. So they caught this kid within 24 hours, right? Who murdered in Truesdale.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, that kid's gonna either get life in prison or whatever punishment the charges are appropriate for. So, but the kids who are robbing on Melrose that just like run up on a gun and steal their watch, the cops are like, are they going to prosecute? Let's stop looking for him. What's the point?
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that what happened?
I think so. I mean, I had a friend last night who was telling me that he just had like a storage unit broken into and like a bunch of stuff stolen, and that the people at the storage unit were like, I mean, yeah, you can call the cops if you want, but they literally don't do anything. So like you might as well just file the insurance claim. And he was like, oh shit. You know, like, so anything, I feel like those little things, even though robbing someone at gunpoint for their Rolex isn't little, I don't think that there's really a response. Like, I think the cops are just like, all right, well.
And for people to realize that is markedly different than what happened years ago. So I can tell this story. Remember 10 years ago, we had our office in downtown and our entire warehouse got robbed.
Yep.
In the middle of the night over the weekend, they broke fences. They rammed a truck into our warehouse to open the door, stole everything, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of goods.
And stuff out of your guys' offices. Like,
they stole like D's memorabilia.
Computers,
just part of the reason why we moved to this part of town.
I think it was 90% of the reason.
Yeah. We're like, this is low and safe.
Too far, yeah.
And we called the cops and obviously made a police report, did the whole thing. And within 48 hours, a detective called D and was like, we think we found the clothes at a public storage unit. We've been tailing this guy, and called us to go to the public storage unit. And we all went and like collected not all the goods, but some of the goods.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would that happen today?
No. Zero chance. They'd be like, all right, well, we'll come by like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. Just, block it off.
Or they won't do the work to, like, that detective who found this took real work to find a guy who stole like clothing apparel.
I think it's similar. Don't you think it's similar to the logistics problem where like it's a combination of a bunch of factors working perfectly to make it really bad? Meaning like it's a lack of prosecution.
Yep.
It's a lack of, police support or whatever. I've also heard, from people that cops are, scared, whether the word is scared or maybe angry or whatever, that like, hey, we don't want to do something wrong and end up on, social media or whatever. Like I don't know. I don't know how to really talk about that because some of that is very much needed. But the point is there's this like standoffishness from the cops. There's lack of prosecution. There's all this different stuff that are working perfectly in harmony to make it really, really bad.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Because I'm just thinking out loud, like about what happened to us 10 years ago was basically like they really did the work to find clothes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're doing no work to find people and that was a nonviolent crime. We weren't in the office. We were all at home and they still went and did it. These are like people that are getting assaulted for their watches.
I mean, the difference of that and pointing a gun in someone's face to take their watch is like way different.
Orders of magnitude.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's so strange.
So you fast forward today, we would be on a Monday afternoon and 10 people would come in gums in the Young and Reckless and 5'4" office.
Yeah.
Just walk out. We're taking
For real.
everything.
We're taking all this shit. Actually, can you help us load it into our cars? And we'd be like, yes. We're actually recording a podcast. Do you want our mics? It's crazy. Yeah, to answer your question too, like I used to have a lot of nice things, cars, stuff like that. I can't imagine. I used to drive around town in a fucking Rolls Royce with a Rolex on alone. That seems absurd to me now.
Yeah.
I would never consider it.
Crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about what's going on with Grab. Grab is Asia's Uber, essentially.
Yep.
They had a SPAC. They SPAC'd it up.
What's
going on? What's going on? Trouble in SPAC land? It seems like all I hear about SPACs is trouble.
I think they made a mistake by going through with the SPAC because Grab is actually like a very innovative business, and it's definitely like the future of Southeast Asia. I think there's 600 million people in Southeast Asia, and they've basically cornered mobility. They've also got into like Uber Eats type services, groceries, and they have financial stuff that you can do on Grab for consumers. And it's certainly the future of Southeast Asia. You can debate the valuation because obviously everything's inflated right now. So they SPAC'd at $40 billion. It went down by 20%. And they actually had like a really legitimate sponsor of the SPAC. It's Altimer Capital, this guy named Brad Gerstner, who's like super fucking smart, super successful, has like so many home runs under his belt. And I just think the word SPAC means go down. Because I thought this would actually go up because I was like, oh, this is a SPAC with like one of the most legitimate like venture firms around that has so much success behind it. The firm, Altimer Capital, has a 3-year lockup. So they can't just, it wasn't a hustle. They were like, we really believe it. So I was like, oh, this is like all coming together. But then the word SPAC, I think, just spooked the market.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe there's a lot of successful ones, but the word SPAC to me just feels toxic at this point.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. And I feel like it was just like, maybe they should have reversed course and done a traditional IPO. I don't know.
That's just weird.
And Altimer could have just done the pre-IPO funding and given them a shit ton of money.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Okay, well, tough time for SPACs. Did you see Elon? Who?
Yeah, it was Elon.
Elon tweeted, yeah, and then one of the Winklevi like responded. Elon tweeted that there should be an age limit to run for political office, and then in Elon fashion, which I think that I would have to believe that part of the tweet was real, and then in Elon fashion, which is why he's so good at the internet, said perhaps a number just below 70.
Right.
Referring to the great 69. But I think the topic was real, right?
No, the topic is real. And if you just think about it objectively without, getting everyone riled up, there's a age limit to become president. On the minimum side, you have to be minimum 35 years.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's no max.
There's no maximum. And, think about who in the last 5 years, 6 years, including Trump, it's just a bunch of people in their late 70s making decisions for future generations. So how are their incentives aligned, right? Trump, late 70s, Biden, late 70s, Pelosi, late 70s, McConnell, late 70s.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't. I'm just trying to think. Like right now, they announced, hey, there's a new age limit. It's 69. I don't care. I don't
think it's a problem. I don't think there's anything offensive about it. And maybe it's lower. Maybe it's 65 or 60.
I mean, at a certain age, don't you have to like go get another driver's test?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, come on. Whatever that age is, you can't be president.
And
You're
it's
even
just
starting
like,
to question.
Isn't it just like biologically confirmed that in your late 70s, your mental faculties aren't the same as they were 20 years before?
Yeah, all day. I forget what I was listening to. I was listening to something the other day where someone asked, I think it was Kasparov, the chess champion, if he could beat the current chess champion who's a younger guy. And he said, well, there's no chance because I'm like 56 or whatever, however old he is.
Yeah.
And he's like in his 20s. And you just can't. Like there's just a mental decline that happens. And I think it's I don't think we're too up in the air about whether there's a decline mentally. Plus, you're just out of touch, man.
Yeah, there's just
you don't especially with how fast stuff moves now. Ask Biden about Bored Ape Yacht Club. I'm just curious what the response would be.
Yeah, ask him about the metaverse. Ask him about crypto. We're talking trillions of dollars of market cap.
Yeah.
This isn't like, some fringe thing anymore. And these guys are completely out to lunch on how this stuff works.
Yeah. I agree. Do you think that could ever happen? No, right?
No, because
it's all old people that vote.
Exactly, that's the problem. Because what
ask
senator?
A bunch of 80-year-olds what the age limit
or like
should
a 55-year-old senator is like, I like my job. I don't want to give it up in 20 years.
Yeah. Well, you should at least not be able to run at that age, right? Like maybe you can keep your job till a certain age.
No, you shouldn't keep it either. Why should there be like...
All right, kick them. Kick them out. Fuck these guys. I just think you should at least, you have to, if it is true, maybe this is something I was told young that was a lie, but that you have to like retest for driver's license and things when you get old. At least like you got to re-qualify.
Yeah, no, I think that's completely accurate because I feel like my dad had to do that like a handful of years ago. He had to go to DMV
true.
And redo something.
But instead you can just waltz into the presidency for 8 years.
And to your point, like I'm 38, you're quote unquote 34.
34.
D's 41.
Mid 34, 34 and a half.
And we have all our mental faculties, right? Our mental faculties haven't been stronger than ever. And we were even caught off guard with DeFi, Bored Ape, NFTs.
Oh, I'm still confused.
No, but
I'm still trying to figure out what Rusty was talking about 2 months ago.
Yeah, but this is like happening so fast. How the hell is a 75-year-old politician making legislation on trillions of dollars in marketplace?
They're not. They can't. They're thinking about like what to do with all the tanks.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. Well, not a bad idea. And look, make it 69. Let's have a little fun.
Sure. 59.
Elon for Prez. Okay. And then last news story that we have is there's a bill that lawmakers announced to prohibit, like when they do these drops, like sneaker drops and stuff like that. The big thing is there's bots that win. The resellers have these bots that win the auctions long before an actual person who just loves, let's say, the shoes can do. And there's a bill to prohibit that sort of behavior.
I love it. My question is, how are they going to figure out who's a bot and how are they going to enforce it? That's what's not discussed.
Also, I would like to say, there's some statistics on that I don't know by memory of like how many pages on Facebook that are like riling up immigration issues or Black Lives Matter issues or religious issues that are like Russian bots.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just kind of thinking that like that should be maybe the priority.
Sure. Rather than sneakers.
Yeah.
Like let's focus on what's ruining our society versus like trying to
like if we're going at bots, I think not all bots are created equal. I think we should go to the ones that are absolutely destroying society and let the Air Maxes live for a little longer.
Yep. No, I agree.
But whatever. I mean, cool. I mean, look, I like it. I don't know if it's the highest priority, but it's great. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think so.
Good enough. Okay. Let's talk about winners, losers content. Who's your biggest winner for the last week?
We talked about it on last podcast, but it's I have to mention again. It's USC.
What are you guys up to?
USC, we hired Lincoln Riley, which we talked about last episode, coach of Oklahoma. And I can tell you firsthand, being an alum, I've never seen more excitement in the last 48 hours than I've seen at USC since I was there when Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush were winning all those titles.
Really?
And it's reinvigorated the alumni base. I've already made plans with friends to go to the first game. I haven't been to a game in years.
Yeah.
I think the Coliseum's going to be sold out every single week. I heard Matt Leinart, a good friend of ours, talk on a podcast how like excited he is and how terrible the university did the last decade. Yeah. And this is like a turning point. And what it does, it's going to reinvigorate the city in a meaningful way. The city loves USC. When USC's hot, it's just a different vibe in the city. And I just am very excited.
When was the last time USC was hot?
Oh, 2006.
Oh, yeah. So I don't even know a USC hot city.
No. Like, I'll tell you, like, in the run that Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush, in 2005, outside of Kobe Bryant, the number 2 person in Los Angeles was Matt Leinart.
Really?
Yes. Like, in terms of just clout. Like, if Matt Leinart showed up somewhere, it was like, oh, my God, I can't believe he's here.
So he just lived like a king here.
Oh, yeah. He was the original, like, linked with Paris Hilton, TMZ, did the whole thing. And, like, at the clubs, he was the god. Like, he was, like, lived a great life.
Yeah, okay, let's bring that back. I mean, I'm telling you, man, if we can get rid of these armed robberies, get USC hot, I guess the Lakers need some help, huh?
Yeah, Lakers are in trouble.
Damn it. Okay, well, football, we good over there?
The Rams?
Yeah.
They're decent.
All right. Well, USC it is.
Yeah.
Take care of the crime, get USC hot. We're good.
Yeah, exactly.
My winner, well, not to be repetitive here, it was going to be my winner in the beginning. My winner is Virgil. I mean, just like I said, the stuff this guy accomplished, I already kind of said it earlier, but absolutely insane. So props to Virgil and his incredible legacy.
Yeah, no, it's a great one.
Who's your loser?
My loser is the NFL. So while we're recording this pod, we talked about Antonio Brown faking his Vax card, and he's getting suspended now.
Yeah.
And appropriately so. Like, he's getting suspended 3 games, which in the NFL, there's only 17 games. So it's a big portion of the season.
Yeah.
But the reason why the NFL is a loser is they did nothing to Aaron Rodgers, who lied about being vaccinated to reporters. He didn't follow the protocols. Because if you're not vaccinated, you're supposed to wear a mask at press conferences. And this is, you don't have to be political. You don't have to care about vaccinations or not. I don't give a shit what your opinion is. The NFL made rules. Antonio Brown violated rule. Aaron Rodgers violated rule, both blatantly. One got suspended 3 games. One didn't get touched. So are the rules only for like non-Aaron Rodgers, like top 5 quarterbacks in the league, but hey, receiver, like you're screwed?
Aaron Rodgers told reporters he was vaccinated?
He said, I'm immunized. And then
What does that mean?
he said he talked to his good friend Joe Rogan. That was the running joke.
Well, yeah, he did say that. But that was after he was... That was after.
So Aaron Rodgers, what he did was pretended like a vaccinated player the way he operated in press conferences and after the game. There was clear protocol after the game. If you're not vaccinated, you have to wear a mask. You can't talk to reporters without a mask. You can't do all these things. So he violated all of that and basically lied. But you lied by your actions. Whether you want to debate what immunized means, which is a whole nother debate.
Yeah.
You lied by your actions because some 65-year-old reporter sitting in the front row, this guy doesn't have a mask on. He's like, he's probably vaccinated. Or he must be vaccinated.
Yeah. Yeah, what the hell is immunized? I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah.
They didn't have that at CVS.
Yeah, so I mean, this has nothing to do with your view on COVID vaccines. It has everything to do with the rules that the NFL mandated. 2 people violated it. 1 came off scot-free. 1 got suspended 3 games. You realize if Aaron Rodgers gets suspended 3 games, I mean, they may not make the playoffs.
Well, that's why he didn't get suspended 3 games.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, that's fucked up. Yeah, I'd love to hear the explanation for that. My loser, I just said them all early. My loser is me guessing how we're going to respond to the Omicron. That's a little bit of a future telling, but I was clicking on news here to see if I could switch to a different loser, and already like every news topic is old Ami. So I think we're in for a slow winter.
Yeah, the media is going to definitely dominate the holidays. And we got through Thanksgiving without Omni.
Yeah.
I had no COVID talk at my Thanksgiving. Did you?
No, we didn't say the word COVID, I don't think.
And then the next day they dropped. It was the Black Friday sale.
It was. At least they gave us Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Like they saved everyone's Thanksgiving conversation.
Mm-hmm. But now they ruined Christmas. Because in 2 weeks, the Omni cases are going to be through the roof. We already know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Christmas is ruined. I don't know what to do. I might put in the early heads up to the parents. Hey, guys, safety first.
You might just have to catch some Shark Tank in Hollywood instead of...
I'm just saying that we can FaceTime and compare pitches. Okay, love it. What about content? Any content recommendations for the weekend?
I actually don't really have much content. I haven't really consumed much.
I have 2 for you. I'll give one for me, one for you. Number 1 is a big weekend of boxing. So Devin Haney versus Jojo Diaz and
don't you know
Gervonta.
Diaz?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Emilio's good friend.
Yeah.
And then Gervonta Davis versus Cruz. Gervonta's obviously probably, I don't know, maybe the biggest young star in boxing.
Wow.
Big weekend of boxing. So a lot of people are talking about that. And also the one that I'm giving you is, have you been watching Succession?
I'm behind, but I'm like,
It's a really good show.
It's a great show. Great characters.
For me, it's the first show in quite a while that I've had to wait for, wait for the air day. It wasn't streaming. And I've really looked forward to. They kill it on the writing, and I think we have 2 episodes left. But it's just a hell of a show.
It's a great show. I'm behind, but I need to catch up. I also want to point out, I saw Brian Atlas posted your cornhole competition. Is that the annual? What happened?
I didn't bring it up on purpose.
You won the last time, I think, right?
I won the last time. My trophy is right to your left.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there it is.
That's my trophy. I'm so proud of it. I show it every episode. That's my trophy. I made $5,000 cash. And then I go back. So there was 1 year off because of COVID. Go back to defend my title. I made it to the final fucking game.
Who'd you
lose
Mikey
to? Taylor beat me.
Wow. Friend of the pod, Mikey Taylor.
Friend of the pod, Mikey Taylor. Look, it couldn't have went to a better guy. If I had to lose to anyone, I'd like it to be Mikey Taylor. But he came out he has some good, those like hillbilly skills where like beer pong, darts, that thing that I just have in my genes. He's got them too, and he got me.
So how many people were in the competition?
Probably 30.
Okay, so 30 people in the competition. Is it an accident that 2 skaters got to the finals?
No.
Like there's something in your...
Yep. I think there's something in our hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because as skater, I really do think that. Because also Mikey Taylor is really good at golf. There's something in I think you spend so much time trying to make your feet, you got to do the littlest motion to flip the board. I think there's just some sort of motor skills that get tuned.
But where's the hand in the skating?
There isn't, but I think it's just motor. I think it's your body can do what your brain tells it to.
Right.
Because I just am naturally good at things like beer pong and darts and cornhole and stuff like that. And I knew it. I knew that because Paul Rodriguez was there too, Sean Malto, obviously Atlas, Rob, they're both skaters. I knew that it was going to be one of those guys. And Mikey, you could tell from game number 1, he just had a style that
So you're telling me the non-skaters just got smoked early in the competition?
Yeah, there was probably 2 people that were non-skaters that were pretty decent. That probably, just had a big cornhole college career, I would guess. But yeah, the skaters dominated. Yeah. There's something to it. I don't know.
Well, next year. Bring back another trophy next year.
I'm pretty upset. You know what I wanted was the hype of if you really went essentially 3 years of a reign, next year when I showed up, it would have been okay, that's the guy.
Yeah, of course. That's a dynasty.
Mayweather.
It's a dynasty.
That's a dynasty. You're right. That's Lakers, what, 90s?
2000s.
Okay, that would have been me.
Exactly.
But no, now I'm just a stupid loser.
You're the
now
Dallas
Lakers
Mavericks.
2021.
One title.
Yeah, one trick pony. Anyway, okay, that's it. Do we got any shout outs?
Nope, not over here.
Okay.
Good stuff. Anand, thank you. Let's make sure we quarantine D.
Yeah.
And guys, like I said, it's risky journalism, but someone's got to do it. And we're going to see just how transmissible Omicron really is. We'll see you later.